It's easier not to fall prey to what people tell you about yourself, or feel the smoke being blown up your or take the praise for what it is, or understand that, okay, if I do this, it's gonna be more trouble than it's worth.
A lot of things simultaneously. I close the border. We don't want people coming. We want people to come in, Harris, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. They have to come in legally. We want people. I want people to come into our country, but they have to be vetted. They have to be checked. So when you say, what do I do?
Def Comedy Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up?
Nervous as hell right now. I was on vacation with Sam one time, Samuel Jackson. We was in Portofino, we had finished dinner one time. We walking back to go get on this boat. Hey, you're Samuel Jackson, I want to take a picture.
Samuel L. Jackson and Katt Williams just took Hollywood by storm, calling out none other than Oprah Winfrey and Steve Harvey. And when these two unleash on Hollywood's power players, you know it's going to get brutal.
Def Comedy Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up?
Nervous as hell right now.
Katt Williams and Samuel L. Jackson are finally exposing the hidden fears that people like Oprah and Steve Harvey have been hiding all along.
People are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people.
But why? What secrets are they trying so hard to keep buried? Are we watching the fall of Hollywood's untouchables? Why is Steve Harvey terrified of Katt? And is Oprah's power starting to crumble in the face of these accusations?
As a person who's been shamed for so many years, I'm just sick of it.
Samuel L. Jackson and Katt Williams are bringing the truth to light, and they're taking no prisoners. So what makes Steve Harvey so terrified of Katt Williams? Harvey is Hollywood's poster boy for positivity and family values, but Katt Williams has something to say about that image. And he's not holding back. Katt has hinted for years that Harvey's success has been built on keeping others down. Rumors of Steve's alleged backroom deals and power plays have haunted him for a while, but it's only now that the truth is starting to come out. And it's not just Katt Williams who sees through Harvey's facade. Samuel L. Jackson has also taken a stand, and he's shedding light on just how deep Hollywood's loyalty to certain figures goes. But why? What are they so afraid of?
It's easier not to fall prey to what people tell you about yourself, or feel the smoke being blown up your or take the praise for what it is, or understand that, okay, if I do this, it's gonna be more trouble than it's worth.
Samuel L. Jackson, one of Hollywood's most prolific actors, has faced his own set of challenges. But as Jackson himself admits, Hollywood hasn't always been welcoming. Despite his success, he's been kept out of the highest inner circles for years, all because he refuses to play by Hollywood's rules. Why would Hollywood try to sideline one of its biggest stars? Jackson's now revealing how powerful figures like Oprah and Steve have kept others in line, using tactics that are more about control than talent. And Katt Williams? He's adding fuel to the fire. And then there's Oprah Winfrey. Known for her influence in media empire, Oprah's reputation has stayed strong for decades. But according to sources close to Katt Williams, she's terrified of him exposing her own hidden past. What's she so afraid of? 50 Cent has openly challenged Oprah before, hinting that her public persona doesn't match what goes on behind closed doors. And now, with Samuel L. Jackson and Katt Williams speaking out, people are starting to ask questions. Could it be that Oprah's empowerment message is hiding something darker? Back in the day when 50 Cent was becoming a huge star, he had one big goal: make it onto Oprah's show. It wasn't just about fame. This would have been a major accomplishment for a guy who went from hustling in Jamaica, Queens, to the top of the rap game. Plus, his grandma was a big Oprah fan, so he wanted to show her he'd made it. But when his people pitched the idea, Oprah straight up said, "No, thanks." Ouch. See, Oprah wasn't feeling 50's music or his vibe at all. She was completely against everything in my music, 50 later admitted. So she ain't never going to have me on that show. I'm never going to reach that platform, which is confirmation of you being a huge success. So I just said, okay, if we can't be friends, then at least let's be enemies. And boy, did 50 Cent go all in. He dragged her fan base, saying her audience wouldn't get him. And then, this is petty genius, he named his dog Oprah. He was mad, and he let her know it in true 50 Cent fashion.
That's Oprah.
That's Oprah. Okay.
But Oprah isn't the only woman he's side-eyed. Fast forward to the #MeToo movement, and 50 noticed something about how Oprah was handling the situation. He claims she went after black men, calling them out publicly, while barely saying a peep about certain powerful white men with much worse reputations. And that's where it gets juicy. Rumor has it, Oprah's been ignoring black artists in favor of rubbing elbows with elite Hollywood types. Folks like Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, people with serious allegations against them. Yet, instead of keeping her distance, she was spotted cozying up to them. Now, this was especially puzzling because while Harvey Weinstein's crimes were an open secret in Hollywood, Oprah stayed friendly with him. They had a warm friendship. There are even photos to prove it. Some people even suspect that Oprah was complicit, nudging young actresses toward Harvey. Rose McGowan, a vocal Weinstein critic, tweeted, "I'm glad more people are seeing the ugly truth of Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't."
What do you mean by body flashback?
I can feel him there.
And when Oprah did finally speak about Weinstein, she was all vague and indirect, never really holding him accountable. Some say it felt like she was trying to protect him, like she didn't want to rock the boat too much.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining. And so I think this is a watershed moment.
But when it comes to Michael Jackson, Oprah had no problem getting in on the controversy. Let's rewind to 1993. She interviewed Michael at his Neverland Ranch. It was one of the most watched interviews ever. This was Michael's chance to clear up a lot of rumors about himself. Like whether he wanted to be white or had telepathic animals. Yes, those were actual rumors. But Oprah didn't hold back. Her questions were nosy, almost accusatory, especially when it came to his relationships, which left fans feeling like she had an agenda.
I'm going to ask you this, and it's embarrassing for me to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Are you a virgin?
Then came the ultimate betrayal. After Michael's death, Oprah supported Leaving Neverland, the documentary where Wade Robson and James Safechuck accused Michael of misconduct when they were kids. Oprah even went so far as to interview these accusers, making a big spectacle of it. The Jackson family and fans were furious, feeling like she was just trying to drag Michael's name through the mud, all for ratings.
While never forgetting any of details that happened between us, but having no understanding that it was abuse, having no...
Jermaine Jackson, Michael's older brother, called her out, saying she'd betrayed Michael for the sake of TV ratings. Taj Jackson, another family member who had known Wade Robson growing up, publicly expressed his outrage at Oprah, accusing her of using the situation to boost her image. Even Janet Jackson reportedly still holds a grudge against Oprah over this. She believes Oprah helped fuel the hate campaign against her brother, and it's left the whole family feeling bitter. Brandy Jackson, another family member, said she felt especially hurt by Oprah's actions because Oprah had once been welcomed into their home, even interviewing Michael's children. For her to later turn on them like this felt like a deep betrayal to the family. And let's be real, when the documentary Untouchable came out about Harvey Weinstein, did Oprah do anything? Crickets. There was no big show, no interviews with his victims. Harvey, an actual convicted criminal, wasn't held up on Oprah's stage, but she had no problem doing so for Michael, who was never found guilty of the charges against him. It was obvious there was a double standard. Michael Jackson couldn't defend himself. He'd been dead for years when she aired Leaving Neverland. But here she was, throwing him under the bus while completely sidestepping Weinstein, a man who was alive. Well, and guilty as charged.
Do you think Oprah betrayed Michael?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And I feel like she betrayed not just him, but my family.
The way Oprah seemingly chose to amplify accusations against Michael while turning a blind eye to Weinstein had people questioning her motives. It was like she was picking and choosing who to support based on what was convenient for her image. Oprah even did a special show after Leaving Neverland aired, giving Michael's accusers a whole platform to tell their stories, something she didn't even consider doing for Weinstein's victims. This selective justice left fans with a bad taste in their mouths. Why would Oprah go all in on Michael Jackson but stay mum about Weinstein, someone she was known to be close to? The Jackson family, especially Janet, felt this was Oprah's attempt to erase Michael's legacy. They're still waiting for Oprah to acknowledge the pain she caused them and Michael's fans. Janet Jackson and others want an apology, but Oprah has kept silent, not a word of remorse. At the end of the day, it all raises the question, was Oprah motivated by personal gain, or was there more to the story? Whatever her reasons, it's clear the Jackson family and Michael's fans may never forgive her for what they see as a calculated betrayal. And as for her friendship with Weinstein, the fact that she gave him a pass only adds to the mystery of Oprah's selective loyalty. Anyway, another artist who has called out Oprah is Ice Cube. During a 2023 interview with Tucker Carlson, Ice Cube, who's known for his no-nonsense attitude, claims he was outright banned from Oprah's show. Ice Cube felt snubbed and wasn't shy about sharing it publicly.
But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. Yeah, man.
He claimed that The View and Oprah wouldn't have him on during the promotional period for his massive hit film Barbershop and while producing a show called Black, White. He said each show's entire cast was invited on The Oprah Show on 2 separate occasions, but he was not invited. In any case, Oprah's not the only one getting dragged right now. Turns out her friends and other high-profile buddies are feeling the heat too. And yes, we're talking about none other than Steve Harvey. A few months back, one of the most entertaining and downright dramatic feuds in comedy came to a boiling point. Katt Williams versus Steve Harvey. These two comedy icons have been throwing shade at each other for ages, but the flames really got fanned after Katt's wild appearance on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe. Fans say Katt's taken the lead in this roast battle, but don't count Steve out. He's fired back with some jabs that show he's not ready to go down without a fight.
And you'll never have a hater that's doing better than you. Don't get off the wall to dress some pity any boy who ain't got going for himself.
But here's the thing. Most folks think this beef started with that interview. According to Samuel L. Jackson, though, it's been brewing for years, with the real drama kicking off at the 2017 Def Comedy Jam reunion. Jackson revealed that things started getting weird when Dave Chappelle took the mic and decided to give Katt a shout-out. The audience laughed and Katt was eating up the attention. But Steve? He was squirming. You could practically see the discomfort written all over his face, like he couldn't stand Katt getting even a sliver of the spotlight. Trying to reel the attention back to himself, Steve jumped in with, "Hey, I'm nervous as hell right now." But Chappelle kept talking about Katt, determined to give the guy his flowers. Steve, clearly not thrilled, interrupted again, saying, "But let me ask you this. When have you ever seen this many heavy hitters all together at the same time in the same room?" He was obviously trying to steer the moment away from Katt and back onto himself. Now, maybe the audience didn't pick up on Steve's attempt to divert the praise, but insiders sure did. Samuel L. Jackson and others were reportedly disappointed. They felt Katt deserved his moment in the spotlight, especially with everything he's contributed to comedy over the years. Steve's move? It came across as petty, even a little jealous, and let's be real, Steve could have at least given Katt his props before steering the conversation. But nope, he had to jump in, making it obvious that he couldn't handle seeing his rival get any shine. What made it worse? Steve wasn't even slick about it. His attempt was clumsy and kinda desperate, making it look like he was green with envy over Katt's moment. It wasn't just Steve either. Fans noticed that Cedric the Entertainer, another comedy legend, was subtly trying to keep the attention away from Katt too. Cedric nervously laughed through Chappelle's speech, almost like he was hoping it would end soon. Then, when Steve piped up again, Cedric threw in a quick, "Yeah," as if to back Steve up, like, "Okay, enough about Katt, let's move on."
Well, let me ask you this. When have you ever seen this many heavy hitters all together at the same time, in the same room?
Now, Cedric's approach was way more low-key than Steve's, so most people probably missed it. But again, industry insiders were not impressed. They felt Cedric could have at least acted like he was happy for Katt, instead of supporting Steve's little spotlight grab. And keep in mind, this was in 2017, years before Katt publicly called out both Steve and Cedric on Club Shay Shay. So what's the deal with Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer throwing shade at Katt? According to Samuel L. Jackson, it's because they're low-key scared of him, but not in a Katt might beat me up kind of way. They're afraid of Katt stealing their spotlight. Rewatch that Def Comedy Jam moment, and you can see it all over Steve's face. His first attempt to redirect the spotlight started with him saying, "I'm terrified." It was almost like he was admitting that Katt had the potential to outshine him, and he just couldn't handle it.
Def Comedy Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna show up?
I'm nervous as hell right now.
Word on the street is that Steve Harvey isn't just casually bothered by Katt Williams. He's actually scared of him. Samuel L. Jackson reportedly spilled the tea, saying that both Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer are running scared because Katt is just that good. And Katt didn't hold back either. During his Club Shay Shay interview, he threw some major shade, calling out both Steve and Cedric. He even spilled about an epic showdown between him and Steve that happened years ago. And, spoiler alert, Katt came out on top. This comedy battle went down in 2008 at the Championship of Comedy. Although the event wasn't officially billed as a face-off, Katt was fed up with Steve's antics and decided to make it one. He tore into Steve on stage, roasting him about being bald and secretly wearing a wig. And let's be real, back then, most people didn't know Steve was rocking a man's wig on national TV. People were obsessed with that high-top fade. Men everywhere were jealous of his perfectly lined up hairline, while their own hairlines were fading faster than they could book an appointment with their barber. Steve's high-top fade was his signature look, the ultimate piece of his on-screen persona. It was like his crown. So, when Katt came for his hair, it hit deep.
Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal, and he wear a suit, and then he gets this high-top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business, and it's a man unit.
That wasn't just a casual roast. Katt was going for Steve's ego, his confidence, his pride. And whether Steve admits it or not, Katt's words hit home. Want proof? After that night, Steve eventually ditched the wig and went for the bald look. Yup, Katt exposed him, and Steve had to own it. Fast forward to now, and Steve's bald head has become part of his iconic look, pairing perfectly with his crisp mustache. But back then, he was hiding behind that wig. And according to Katt, the embarrassment from that roast was enough to make Steve leave the stand-up game for good.
There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good Oba-Kaby and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none.
If that's true, no wonder Steve gets rattled whenever Katt's name is mentioned. It's not every day you bump into the person who might have ended your career. And if you think Steve's over it, think again. 9 years later, at the 2017 Def Comedy Jam reunion, Dave Chappelle made that joke about Katt, and Steve got visibly nervous. But can you really blame him? If someone roasted you so hard they basically retired you from stand-up, you wouldn't be chill around them either. But Katt Williams isn't the only one calling Steve Harvey out for joke stealing. Veteran comedian Mark Curry also came forward.
He did all my Halloween material one Halloween. I'm watching, somebody called me and said, man, homeboy doing your material. So he did my whole Halloween run. And I know he didn't think of it. This is true stuff that really happened to me.
Mark had performed the joke during his own stand-up special, produced by Comedy Central Presents. When confronted about it, Steve denied the whole thing, telling Mark Curry to come with receipts if he was going to accuse him of joke theft. He added, "The only reason I'm commenting is because he keeps running his mouth about, now grow up. Never stole a joke in 35 years. Come to me like a man and tell me what the joke is." Well, fans of the veteran comedian did dig up the joke Mark Curry was referring to and proved that Steve really did Jack Curry's joke. The routine was a Halloween joke in which Mark claimed that they didn't have money while growing up and had to use some strange but funny costumes for All Hallows Eve.
Halloween was a trip. Halloween, we couldn't afford no Halloween costumes. Hey, kids, please. Mama sent us down to the liquor store, put boxes on us. We didn't know what we were.
I don't know what we are.
Steve apparently performed the exact same joke on his eponymous talk show, Little Big Shots, where he was brought up in a family with no money and had to dress up in funny Halloween costumes. In an interview with Willie D on his podcast, Willie D Live, Curry stated that Steve's motivation for stealing his jokes wasn't financial gain, but the desire to be like him, Mark Curry. At first, he did not address the Think Like a Man author by his name and spoke about how many comedians are swiping jokes in his industry.
Why are you on my material?
Right.
What's that about? And then, people want to jump up. Oh, he didn't know. He didn't steal your... So yes, he did.
Comparing it to what happens in the rap industry, Curry claimed that the content is similar, but many things clearly distinguish one artist from the other. However, stand-up comics are different, and when people steal, it places people in a position where they have to either defend their originality or comfort the person who stole their material. Thus, he sent a warning to Steve Harvey, "I'm a step to you. If you stealing my set, F you," he said. I step to you. That doesn't mean it has to be a physical thing. He then told Willie D he takes pride in writing his own jokes and tries to write on topics that are different from what other comedians are writing on. This helps him to detect when comedians steal his routine because those jokes are unique and ain't like any other. And that was how he spotted the parts of his jokes that Steve Harvey stole. Take the Steve Harvey thing. It's a B move, Curry said. Maybe he's not stealing my material, you know? I maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe one of his writers did it, but they know, we all know, whose material it is. It ain't about the money, he said. Harvey got enough money. So it looked like you want some of me. You want to be me. Therefore, you ain't got enough money. I look at it like that's all right, boy. I'm a G in the game. You want to be me. You want my style. However, Steve Harvey shot back at Mark Curry, telling the veteran comedian to grow up and stop making stuff up. He claimed that he stopped doing stand-up a long time ago, so he doesn't even know what the old G was talking about. Mark Curry needs to grow up, Harvey said at the time. Steve Harvey ain't been on stage since 2015. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's making stuff up, so I'm in peace. However, many fans thought that Mark Curry was right when he said that Steve Harvey wanted to be like him. They pointed out that not only did the TV host allegedly steal Curry's jokes, but he also copied Curry's TV show, Hangin' with Mr. Cooper. Katt Williams also co-signed the fans' sentiments when he mentioned the exact same thing during his interview with Shannon Sharpe. Katt Williams said of Steve Harvey, "The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had." According to Katt Williams, there's a secret group of comedians in Hollywood who thrive by snatching other people's jokes, characters, and even acting gigs. It's shady, but apparently not all that uncommon in the industry. What's even more interesting is that these comedians all seem to have one thing in common. They're terrified of Katt Williams. Now, one of the guys Katt says is part of this crew didn't actually show up at the 2017 Def Comedy Jam, but Katt made sure to name drop him in his interview with Shannon Sharpe, Ricky Smiley.
You let Ricky Smiley sit here and you said out that mouth, you stole Friday After Next, the one I was in. I wish.
Katt didn't hold back when talking about his beef with Smiley. According to Katt, the drama started when Smiley lied during his appearance on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay, claiming that he was supposed to play Money Mike in the classic Friday After Next. According to Smiley's version, the role of the hilarious flamboyant pimp was all his, and Katt only ended up with it after some switch-up. But Katt says that's pure fiction. "This man told y'all he had my role," Katt said, clearly not holding back. "He said he was supposed to be Money Mike, and I was going to be Santa Claus. Let's get the facts straight. We all auditioned in LA. I was number 201, and there were 200 other black comedians in that room auditioning with me. And now, Smiley wants to say he had the role the whole time and had even started filming? Boy, bye!" In any case, with Samuel L. Jackson and Katt Williams taking a stand, is this the end of Hollywood's untouchables? Steve Harvey's carefully crafted image, Oprah's empire, and the whole facade of Hollywood's elite are now under scrutiny. But the real question remains. Will this be the moment that brings real change to Hollywood? Or will the powers that be find a way to silence Jackson, Williams, and anyone else brave enough to speak up? Samuel L. Jackson and Katt Williams have shown they won't back down, even against the most powerful names in Hollywood. They're taking on Oprah, Steve Harvey, and everyone else hiding behind the industry's polished image. And this time, they're saying goodbye forever to Hollywood's games. The power structures are shifting, and for Oprah, Steve Harvey, and Hollywood's inner circle, it may be too late to hold on, because Samuel L. Jackson and Katt Williams, they're just getting started. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.